Good morning, good people. Jason here with Green Country Agroforestry. We're out early this morning having a look at a few things here in the pecan guild. This is a pecan tree. Under the pecan tree, we've got a lovely fennel here, which is in the process of making seeds. Note that a lot of the foliage has gotten consumed by critters. Those critters, of course, would be swallowtail butterflies. They seem to like these. Of course, we've got still have our pollinators visiting these flowers. So today I was going to talk about the power of creation. This is a tree of life talk. Portion of the tree of life we're dealing with here is the physical plane, which has two branches. We're going to define the two branches as power and glory. Classic definition is victory for the feminine aspect of this plane of the tree of life. Victory is depicted in ancient art as a winged female figure bestowing the crown upon the victor. So that's the interplay, which is of course the reason why the exceptionally good teacher referred to it as power and not victory. The power of creation is the birthright of every human being. If you are human, no matter what it is you're doing right now, you are in the process of creating through action and through inaction. If what you're doing with your time is going out, preparing your soil and planting seeds, nurturing them, watering them, tending them, and helping them to grow, supporting the... Oh, do you hear that? Supporting the ecosystem all around you, then you're exerting that power for the glory of the greater kingdom, and you live in a place of beauty. Of course, if you're exercising that creative power to sit around and complain about how things are not going well for you and how you wish that somebody would come along and make the world beautiful and perfect, well, you're creating that world too. This is an elephant trunk amaranth. Whenever we first brought these in and started planting them, they grew huge. I mean huge. We would get a pound of seeds off of one of these seed heads. And now, this is actually impressive for the amaranth. It just turns out that the better your soil is, the more organic matter you get into it, the less it's oxidized, the more poorly amaranth wants to do in it. So we'll get some seeds out of this and be happy. Keep on distributing them, because if the day ever comes that we slack off and we're not keeping up, the large flowers of the elephant trunk amaranth can be like a signal to us, a trumpet announcing that we need to step up our game. All right. Have a look over here. Unfortunately, I cannot share with you the moment that I just had, because the moment I just had was this right here. I came out this morning and that swallowtail butterfly chrysalis had split open, and I got to see the butterfly as it took off, almost as if she had waited for me to come walking out to say hello, and then she took off and flew away. And I guess if you want to have moments like that, it's time to get more serious about your creation. One thing that I cannot stress enough, and it's this: we live in the world that we create. Through our actions and through our inactions, we live in the world that we create. The problem, of course, is we have to share the world that we live in. So, whenever a person goes out and commits an act of murder, they've created a world where people murder. And if a person goes and plants a garden and shares the fruits with strangers who pass by who may be hungry, or in need of rest, then they've created a world where that can happen. If a person goes about throughout their life with their thoughts and their actions constantly working at creating a world where each person only looks out for their own interests, their own good and benefit, and doesn't seek to nurture the whole, then that's the world that we get to live in. Now I ask you, is that wise? Alright, let's have a look-see here. Right there, Canna indica purpurea starting to bloom. Of course, we've got the, here in the foreground, Hemerocallis fulva blooms. This particular guild, we're going to look at it from the street view, from here where the block wall is. This first rank where we've got peanuts planted is actually, peanuts are here as an annual ground cover to take the place of the daffodils that already bloomed earlier in the season. So the first thing you see is the daffodils in the outer rank. Following that up are Stella de Oro daylily here, arranged around the mailbox, and of course Hemerocallis fulva, the classic orange, and there's still some of those blooming. As a matter of fact, this is Stella de Oro getting ready to bloom here, so we're still seeing some of those little yellow, and there it is, there's a little flag that I put on that flower stalk from the last time around, so I'd remember that this was a yellow one. I want to dig up a couple and put them in a bed by themselves. Alright, Stella de Oro, that's a daylily, Hemerocallis fulva, and of course the classic orange that's still in bloom a little bit over there. There's a good example of, sorry, there's a good example of a late blooming daylily right there. And then we've got cannas coming up behind them. The castor beans, which will, as you can see right there, rise in height even behind them. And then of course we've got our Jerusalem artichoke, Helianthus tuberosa here in the foreground. I do have to keep those trimmed back a little bit. As you can see, I topped this one. Oh, and here at the corner, we've got the Elaeagnus multiflora. It's already produced 8 pounds of berries this year from this bush alone, and they were absolutely delicious. Growing here next to Elaeagnus multiflora, we have a huge, and I mean huge, patch of asparagus. The asparagus ferns are just getting all unruly. I'm going to have to prune them back a little bit. Alright, so up here in the foreground, we've got yet another asparagus, and I believe that's a vining milkweed that's climbing it there. And now, since the bugs are starting to wake up and get to singing loudly, and it's going to get really too loud to talk over them, I'm going to leave you with just this one little thought. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. The moment that you decide that you're going to take an active role and participate in the world that you're creating, the victory is achieved. As always, if you found this video informative or entertaining, or maybe a little bit of both, you know what to do. I'll catch you next time. But until then, get out there and get growing.